All right, so starting off in the 2023 Dodge Hornet GT Plus. I've spent the last week with this thing. I've put several hundred miles on it, and this is hot on the heels of spending about a week and a half with the Alfa Romeo Tonale plug-in hybrid. And I gotta say, this has been like a pretty cool ride. You know, I wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, this is kind of the first new subcompact SUV from Dodge in a while, and it's like pretty fun. Like, it's kind of cool. I was in a presentation with Stellantis, with Dodge, about the Hornet, and they were very adamant about it retaining and having some of that Dodge muscle car DNA. And I gotta say that it does. I mean, this is a small, like 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, but it pushes out 268 horsepower and I think 290 or 298 pound-feet of torque. I can't remember. But either way, this thing like rips along. It really, really scoots, and like handling is pretty sharp. Like, I'm not sure I'm not sure how much of it is like Alfa Romeo DNA coming over, or Dodge's, you know, muscle car DNA going over into Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure. Either way, this thing is, it's sharp handling. It rides really well. Like, this is a much sportier feeling car than I was expecting, and I'm really grateful that it doesn't ride like just garbage. Like, it's totally pliable and doable and comfortable for every day. Even in sport mode, like, it's not anything crazy. And so all the while, I've been averaging better than expected fuel economy, just about 30 miles per gallon, which that's hard to argue with. You know, some downsides to it is like pretty small in here. It's not that small, but I mean, it's small. Like, especially the back seat. I stuffed 3 of my coworkers in the back to go to the gas station, and they were really, really stuffed in there. So I would say 2 adults max in the back seat. It would be fine for like kids, you know, especially small children. And you've got, you know, decent cargo room for, you know, some things, grocery runs, you know, like light soccer gear, whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, it's like pretty eager to really go after it with the power. Like, it's pretty responsive, which is like, it's pretty cool. Like, if you haven't checked out or considered the Hornet, or well, for that matter, the Tonale, which comes in that amazing green color. Oh man, I wish this is just obviously white. You know, Dodge does put this in some like cool colors, and you can also get like suede seats with like the track package and stuff. I don't know who's going to be tracking one of these, but there's lots of like cool options to like personalize it and like make it just really, really cool. Another kind of like a couple other just like weird, like quirky things that you need to be aware of, which I'm still not used to even after a few hundred miles. This has like the old school, I don't even know what they're called. Everybody calls them like the old school like BMW turn signals. And this has that. You just like tap it on and it like goes on, and then it reverts back to the middle, and you have to like tap it again to tap it down to like turn it off. And it's the same thing for the wipers, which is like, it like kind of like takes a minute to like reconfigure your brain to be able to work it, you know. So it's a little frustrating. I still don't like love it. I question like why, especially when so many people are just used to like regular turn signals and wipers. A couple other things too that I've noticed, and these aren't good or bad. Well, they're good. The Uconnect 5, I've used it a million times at this point. Generally, I like it, and I gotta say it works like really well here. The wireless Apple CarPlay I've had 0 issues with this whole time. It's connected just fine. And it's like, it looks beautiful, it's easy to use, like the screen's like just the right size. It's like not in the view, it doesn't like pop up like at all above the dash. I mean, maybe like a little, but it doesn't intrude on your view at all. And the AC in here works fantastic. It's been pretty warm, and I'm sure as it has been across the country, but it's pretty warm here in Salt Lake, and the air conditioning works great. The ventilated seats also work really well. They're really loud though. I don't really care. I mean, I like ventilated seats, but just know that, yeah, they're pretty loud. So other than that, I do have to address the elephant in the room, which is like, how much is this like the Tonale? And the Tonale plug-in hybrid, this is not This Hornet is not the plug-in hybrid. That'll be coming, I think, next year in 2024. So this is like the step below that. Even still, there's a lot of similarities. There's no way around it. I will say this, though. They did a great job in the alpha on making the Tonale, or the Tonale, as some people call it, the Tonale feel more premium. Like, it definitely feels more premium. There are some, like, more premium interior accents and, like, materials and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think they did a good job at distinguishing the Tonale over this. That aside, though, there are very strong similarities. So I would encourage you to go drive both. But I gotta say, I think that they both look really good. Just kind of pick whatever one is more your style. Obviously, the Hornet is a little more like brutish in its appearance, whereas the Tonale is more like European and, like, you know, sexy and in that. But so go drive both. I think you're gonna be pretty happy with either, as long as you're okay with like a slightly smaller back seat, slightly smaller cargo room. You do have plenty of room up here for the driver and front passengers, so that's not really a concern at all. And everything else like works pretty great. The only other thing that I want to mention, and I don't know if it's really a point of concern, but it is worth pointing out, is there have been, well, most times, and I'm just driving it normally. Like, I know everybody thinks, like, all the journalists just thrash these cars, and I know some do, but, like, I really do try to drive these as if I was just, like, daily driving it. And I'm not one to, like, beat on my cars. Like, I want them to last. I take care of them. I respect the cars. I mean, you know, I'll have fun with them, but I'm not, like, thrashing it. So, that said, there has been many times that I've driven this where, and I don't know if this is just like because the temperature gauge is more sensitive or it displays a wider range of temperatures, but I have noticed the temperature gauge has crept above the midway mark multiple times. Not like to a concerning degree, but it has done it, and I don't honestly know where like the standard should be, like where it should be most of the time. But you know, most of the time it like stays below the halfway mark, and then like and then it just like goes up like over, you know, after like driving it for like 20 minutes, a half hour, it kind of just creeps up. Like right now it's right at the midway mark, and I'll notice it kind of go up a little bit. So I don't know if that's like, you know, like I said, a point of concern, but it is something to kind of keep your eye on, and I'm sure it's fine. But this engine does like put out a ton of power. It's a small little engine, but it really like scoots along. The torque is awesome, and it's like really responsive. Like you barely put your foot down on the throttle, and it'll downshift and get you going. So kind of fun, kind of cool. Like if you're looking for a more fun than like, you're just looking for a more fun like I would say this is probably more in line with like a subcompact crossover, maybe not quite as big as like a compact like a CR-V or RAV4. This is definitely smaller than something like that. But if you're kind of looking for something this size, but you kind of want it more fun, more power, with all-wheel drive, obviously, a little more exciting, yeah, I think you're going to be like pretty happy. So as far as pricing goes, I actually don't have the window sticker for this one, but as far as I can tell, you know, online on the Dodge website, I believe this is right about like $44,000, and that, you know, that feels like pretty fair. I would say, especially if this was the GT Plus trim, I believe starts at 37, and then you can, you know, add options, which comes up quickly, raises the price quickly. So I think this is like 42, 44, because it's like loaded, you know, has like pretty much everything. No moonroof or anything like that though, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think that's pretty fairly priced. You know, I would say especially if this was like 40, but I get it, like everything's more expensive now. But if it was about 40, I'd say like this is such a great deal. Even still, I think it's pretty good, and I think you definitely need to go check it out. I think Dodge has done a good job here, and Alpha has done a good job with these things, and like I hope they sell. I hope people like go and check them out, because I think they're primarily, they're just like pretty fun to drive, and like the materials are pretty good. Like it feels like pretty solid build quality, and I think you're in for a pleasant surprise. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking out the Hornet, and huge thanks to Dodge for sending this out. Stellantis, I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you.